All right.
Hello and welcome. I am very excited to be here with all of you. I am Pamela Rich, a diamond with Young Living, along with our co-host, Crown Diamond, Jihan Thomas, and we are very excited to be here. We saw quite a few of you at our recent in-person event, which, hello, how wonderful was that? We missed you if you weren't there. We hugged you if you were, and we certainly look forward to seeing everybody at the next, and you'll have plenty of time to make arrangements to be there. So before we kick off, I do one thing always when I'm leading, a group Zoom, and I put on 2 oils. So I don't know if you all have oils near you that you like to put on, but I like to put on number 1, my white angelica. Anybody who knows me knows this is my like all-time go-to, constantly covered in. I like to just create that energetic field, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into stories. And the other one that I like to use when I have a group together is higher unity. And that is just, it's divine. If you haven't smelled it, I know we're with a group of oil lovers. So if you haven't tried this one, next time I see you, I'll have it in my pocket. So please ask, because I'm always happy to share. But we want to kick off really just talking about the vision. Jihan and I both are quite successful, as some of you may know, not just within Young Living, but outside of Young Living. We're 2 entrepreneurial women who have been in business collectively for over four decades. Between us, we have over 40 years, not dating ourselves, but we have literally 40 years of experience being successful in business, inside of Young Living and outside of Young Living. And we converse, we connect, like powerful people do those kinds of things. We have a circle that we like to be in, and we have a circle that we like to be in that likes to talk about business. Now, let me just see a raise of hands, because we can see all you guys. How many of you actually like to talk about business? Okay, quite a few. Not everybody, and that's okay. Where our intention is to create a comfort zone, if you will, that you're more comfortable than you are right now. So taking you to the next phases and beyond, that you get really comfortable in talking about business because you really understand business, and you understand the business of being you understand the business of being in Young Living, you understand your role, Young Living's role, and you understand, most importantly, and I know Jihan and I agree, is what it is that you want to create. Right? Like, not everybody here tonight, and we've got pages of people, like literally, I love this. There are so many people with this live. There are 10 times this who have requested the recording. And every one of us is going to create a business that is similar, because it's all within Young Living, but it's also going to be individual. And that gets me excited. Does it get you excited? Like, to know that we're not doing like just cookie cutter, that expression of Stepford wives, brand partners within Young Living. And we want to have this conversation, because here's the thing, here's the truth of the matter. When you know what your business is, and you know what your role is, and you know what Young Living's business is and what their role is, and you know the simple steps to building your business and duplicating your business, you can create it any way you want. You can make it look like anything you want it to look like. And our intention in empowering each and every one of you is that you create something that you're proud of, that resonates with you, that you get up in the morning and you feel energy around, that it's a driving purpose in your life. And that's our vision. That's our vision for what we want to create. Do you want to add to that, Jihan?
Yeah, to add to that, and to add to that, you and I have known each other in the industry outside of Young Living for a long time. And one thing that brought us together is that we're doing business once again outside of Young Living. And we've been talking about this over the last several months, how it's just like when you're talking about the circle, how the circle that you're in that has no problem discussing this, which is the circle that we're in, we actually enjoy the conversation. You end up with way more opportunities as a result. And then from those opportunities, you get ideas about how then you could use it for what it's a mastermind. It's a true mastermind is what it comes down to, right? So you and I are doing all these other things together, right? And we're talking all the time about these other things. And then the conversation comes in of like, why don't we teach this in Young Living? And part of the conversation you and I had was culture, that it's not, like, what is the culture of Young Living? And is it time for there to be a culture shift? And we agree, of course, that it's time for there to be a culture shift where it's so much more empowering if you could get into the circles that Pam and I are in than not, if that's what's important to you. I assume, we made it very clear tonight, we're talking about business tonight, and you guys got on. So that's a first gigantic step for many people in Young Living, quite frankly, right? To be able to discuss and say that and say so openly and proudly. I always say I'm a proud businesswoman. I do that to also kind of desensitize people, especially women who are often concerned about talking about being in business or wanting to be in business. And they don't realize, I think you don't realize how much it holds you back from not only growing in Young Living, but holding back from other opportunities. And I can tell you, both Pam and I, as you know, are diamonds, and we reach the top of the company, top ranks of the company and stuff. And the Diamond Group talks about business all the time, every day,
Yes.
all day,
all day,
all day,
and sometimes 24/7.
Yeah, well, you mute your phone.
It is a global situation, so you can tap into that conversation all day and night.
Right. All day. So when when we talked about this, when Pam and I came together and we're like, what do we talk about, and kind of feeling it out so that it doesn't look like everything that's already been done. We were like, we need to speak more strongly and boldly about business. Notice how we've said it like 100 times already. Business, business, business. We are going to use business terms. You're going to learn about business because, again, it's going to give you opportunities that maybe you didn't even know existed before. When you think there's some magical something that's happening with other people, it's not magic. It's people not having fears to talk about what they're actually doing. And when you could boldly talk about what you're doing, when you could confidently talk about what you're doing, you'll be surprised at what you can attract as a result of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I see a lot of familiar faces and I see some unfamiliar faces. So I do just want to like drop in and share a little bit about my story as we kick off. Just so that as Jihan has shared, I am a successful businesswoman, and I have been long before Young Living and within Young Living. I have been a restaurateur. I have been an employee. That didn't sit very well with me. 9/11 took a big shift after that. I've been, as I said, a restaurateur. I've been a holistic health practitioner. My story is in the 4-year career book. It is that slightly different than Jihan's as a holistic practitioner as well. And I'm a couple decades ahead, like I am definitely a solid decade ahead. Let's just say that in my lifespan. And I did already have retirement on the forefront of my mind. I don't know how many of you have as well. I've been chief cook and bottle washer. I've done all kinds of hats. I've done whatever I've needed to do. I've had the bottom drop out. I've had, divorce. I was a single mom. I was the sole breadwinner, all of it. And I drew from those experiences, knowing that I wanted different for myself and my child. And it always propelled me to do whatever I had to do. But I've always had a keen eye to spot business and to spot trends.
Trends.
I will own that loud and proud. Like, I like money. Okay. You're never going to not hear that from me. I have no qualms about saying it. I say it because I know all that it can do for me. I know that when I have more money, I can be my more authentic self because I've had my back against the wall without financial resources, and I know how awful it felt, and I know that I wasn't able to show up as my best self. I will show up as the hungriest mama bear in the town and do what I have to do to put food on the table for my child. Like, that's unequivocally. I will do what I have to do to change my financial legacy unequivocally. Like, that is a driving force of myself that I'm not ashamed to share, because I like it. I like money. I like what it does for me. I like what it allows me to do for other people. I am able to help more people in need than I ever could help if I was, scraping and scrapping. Okay. That's a huge part of me. There's three things that drive me and have always driven me in my life since I was a teenager. That was personal growth, natural living, helping others. And listen, I went through all of those life lessons that many of you, I have no doubt, have gone through trying to help friends that are just on a bad path and a bad mission, shows out like that, trying to help the guy grow into a better man. I am just that helping person. Okay. I got a coupon code for a local store today that was like a Christmas in July. I ordered my stuff. I texted it to my friends. I told them they have curbside pickup. I'm driving by tomorrow to get my order. Do you need anything? I'll pick it up for you. That's who I am. I just want to help people and make the world a better place. Like, and there's 1,000 ways I can do that in business. But if I don't show up for my business, if I don't show up, it limits the ways I can do it. And that's why I was passionate when Jihan and I talking, we have a commonality in that desire to empower others to do it, because we know it's just knowing a few steps. It's just being in the conversation and then taking that into your daily activity to empower you not to be afraid to talk about what's real. And that's just real.
Absolutely. So just to jump into it, let's talk maybe about Young Living in particular, what the business of Young Living is. Maybe we'll talk about your circle first. Actually, let's talk about your circle first and who you pay attention to, right? Or who you not pay attention to, but who you're involved with. And it just touches upon, again, very briefly about what I was saying before. It's that when you get in certain circles, like Pam and I are in a circle of entrepreneurs, and you've heard this before, you become the 5 people you spend the most time with. There's something very elevating about being in certain circles, right? But I always encourage people to also consider who you are in that circle. Right. So it's not just about finding the people that are going to pull you up or drive you, make you better, challenge you. There should be all those things, but it's also how you contribute to that circle. So we've been talking about masterminding and really creating a true one, not just a collective of people who are like, wishy-washy or whatever, but just really saying, okay, and we know even what we're saying tonight, some of you will be in, and some of you are going to gently vibrate yourself out of this. This will not be the messaging. Like Pam, I was broke at one time, and it is way, 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 way worse than having money. Just is. It's just the truth. When I was broke, I had to focus so much on food on the table, shelter, all that's, the basics. I had to focus so much on that. I couldn't effectively help so many other people. There's no way, when you have the ease that comes, when she was talking about her driving factors, one of mine is peace of mind. And another one is bringing hope where many have lost it. I am so driven by those two things that, again, as you notice, everything we're talking about, even though we're talking money and business and all that, it's very altruistically driven, right? Because that's what is motivating to us. That's what gets us up every day. It's not just about going and doing, this other stuff and getting the drop of the cash. It's not that. I don't even play lotto. Right? Most people don't win lotto anyway. It's ridiculous. But regardless, it's because that's not where I'm looking for the windfall. I'm looking to create it. I'm looking to create community and be all in. So pay attention to who your circle is and who you're listening to and who you're around. If I have people that agree with me all the time, I know this is not a good circle for me. I need to be challenged. I need people who have done more. And just like I've done more in my circle than other people have done, I need that kind of dynamic. I also need a circle. I'm just giving you points to think about when you're considering your circle, right? Because we're considering what we're doing also as creating a circle, by the way, in Young Living. That's part of our goal here in the empowerment and lifting people up, that this becomes a new circle. We want to see, I know in a circle that, again, just, I always say a rising tide raises all ships. I have certain strengths and there's other strengths in the circle that we're in right now. And when we put it together, it is really powerful. There's just even the last several months, there's a group of us that have made a lot of money very fast. And it feels good to do that, right? Now, that's not typical. It's not. We're all in long-term vision. We all understand that. But when you get a certain circle, that really understands business, it's not a quick flash in and a flash out. There's an understanding about the longevity and the growth that has to happen within it. And it allows for ease of conversation because of that. Our expectations are usually quite different than what maybe an average person who doesn't understand how business flows. We tend to think more long-term, which is going to be important even in Young Living. You want to think long-term, right? I don't, like, even for what was going on, which we're going to go into right now, what our business is, for the last couple of years, there have been, even maybe before that, people are getting annoyed. Young Living needs to do this. Young Living needs to do that, do that. And Pam and I would sit there and be like, what is everyone even talking about? Like, that is so not, and we don't get easily thrown off by something that's happening just in that. It's the constant putting ourselves in check and putting things into perspective. So let's first with that. What is Young Living's business? Pam, what is Young Living's business?
Young Living their business is to take the orders, process the credit cards, ship the product, and pay us our commissions.
That's it.
That's it.
Nothing changed.
That is it. That is all we look for as top leaders, as people who have large organizations. Mm-hmm. Not a thing else.
That's it. That's what we want. We believe, and again, this is a mindset thing. We believe as leaders, as business owners, as business women, we believe we are responsible for everything else. Whereas I listen to people all the time believe that Young Living is responsible for way more than they are responsible. So here's the first mindset shift when you're doing business. Their job is to make the great products and to send them out, right? Take the orders, send them out, and to pay us once a month as promised by our contract with them. They do that.
And I want to mention this. I don't know how many of you have actually read your contract. Not only in the 20 years that I've been with Young Living, not only have they always done that, those things I look forward to them to do, shipping the product, paying the commissions, but in our contracts, we're not supposed to be paid till the 20th.
I thought it was the 18th. Is it the 20th?
We got paid. No, they closed, but we got paid like 4 days ago. Like, hello.
And they've never missed.
You know how much money that is from a business perspective? I want you to understand this. From a business perspective, that amount of money held in an interest-bearing account, okay, that is a ton of interest for how much they pay out every month globally. And they pay it out often early. Like when they see different things happening in the world, they hustle to get those commissions check deposited early. So just watch that and watch who you're in business with. I love that about them. They're not holding on to it going, I can squeak an extra couple of dollars out of interest earnings. They're paying us. And that speaks volumes to who they are as a company, to me, anyway.
Absolutely. The next piece of it is you're in business, know who you are in the business and manage your own expectations. I've had people come in September and say they want to be diamond by December. I said, do you have a following? No. Do you have a skill set? Have you ever been in business before? No. Okay, we're going to manage some expectations. Okay. Know who you are and what your skill level is now. And by the way, that's not a judgment on yourself. It's not to beat yourself up. I self-assess constantly. And then I look at it and I'm like, oh, okay. If I want this, I really need to work on this piece and get good at it. Right. And when I get good at that piece, then it'll get me much closer to that. But I know I'm going to stumble along the way in getting there because that's what failing forward looks like. That's what making mistakes looks like. There's the learning curve and all of this. Here's the next thing in the mindset. Pam and I absolutely expect to make a ton of mistakes. We expect it. We completely expect it. We know that's par for the course. We also know there's an opportunity in every fail, in every mistake. It's an opportunity to learn better because we have long-term thinking, longevity thinking. We never look at any little thing as catastrophic ever. We're like, oh, okay, we probably could have done that better. We're going to assess tonight and probably say it about 50 different things. We could have done that better. Doesn't mean we're never doing it again. Doesn't mean we're going to stop building. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. Right? Because we have such long-term vision and acceptance as business women who are already successful in our respective businesses, which are plentiful outside, right? Because we already have that, we have a much more clear expectation of what it's going to take, how long it could possibly take to do that, and that we will make a ton of mistakes along the way. That's just known. It's not sexy. Growth is not sexy and it is not comfortable.
Especially when you're starting out.
Right. It's not sexy. It is not comfortable. I've never seen anyone, and you hear me say all the time the phrase with anyone who's in my club, especially, I talk about with ease, it's a wish. I want it to come with more ease, but I know it's going to come with a lot of stretching and a lot of growth in that. So
I want to say this.
Okay.
I do want to say that as you're starting out, yes, we absolutely learn from our mistakes, but we also learn our strengths by what we do really well. And when we're taking these self-assessments as businesswomen, it is so important that you own your magnificence. Like, there are things about you, there are moments, there are ways that you share, there are things that get you excited, and you absolutely light up when you talk about them. And you want to know those things just as much. And you want to play to your strengths, and you want to build your skills. Build those things that you're not as good at. And how are you going to build them? You're going to build them by surrounding yourself with people who are good at it. You're going to do it by following people who are good at it. You're going to read those books, watch those YouTubes, plug into the trainings. You're going to ask for help. I cannot tell you how many people are afraid to ask for help.
Yeah, like they think they're supposed to have it figured out.
We're here as a support system, and yet they never ask for the help that they need. And so few people will raise their hand and say, hey, I'm really great at this, but I'm not so great at that. And then we'll have somebody else on a team that's really great at that other thing and not so good at that. Why not buddy up? Why not work together? Why not create that circle of strength? And that's what we do. We have very many similar qualities, for sure, but we also have very different strengths. And I'm not going to try and be Jihan, and Jihan's not going to try and be me. We're just going to try and create that circle that creates a better system of support.
Absolutely.
And you can do that too.
Is my mic echoing?
Not to me, no.
Okay, good. So, all right. I love this. Okay, I need help. I'm on this path and I'm not quitting, but I'm not sure where to go from here. Okay, so maybe listen, Pam, just for a second before we go into now some nuts and bolts, which we're going to do. Let's just explain what our expectations and what our intentions are right now. We know they will change. So Pam and I decided that we're going to do this for a little bit. We're going to have probably a couple others join us along the way as we do things and as we grow or whatever. But right now, Pam and I said, we have a vision we've been talking about for so long and how to do this, that we want to put it out there. We want to train on business. We want to give you concepts, ways to shift your mind, things to think about. And also very tactical things that you could execute. Like that's what we want to do. We want to give you terminology. Like I just said, tactical and execute and strategy. These are all things that are very commonly discussed in business. When you are in true business circles, these are, there's certain phrases and words and all that are just thrown out very commonly because that's just business talk. So we're going to talk about those things. I'll tell you how it's a benefit to you when you're speaking to someone else and you're trying to get them serious about your business. You want to speak in terms of business, or it's very hard to take it seriously. They want to know that you know what you're doing and talking about it. It's a certain confidence that comes along, not only for you, but for the other person listening to you. If it sounds like you know what you're talking about here, right? So we want to teach that. We want to be mentors to that. So as we do these calls, they will mostly not be live. Tonight, we wanted to kick it off. We wanted to talk to you, all that. They will mostly not be live. We will have a place that we house them. We will record them. You guys could access them whenever, and you could access them whenever you want. So that way, maybe you bring somebody new in and you want them to have lessons. We look at this as going back to school, right? You go to school for all these things, you become proficient, and then you learn through experience after school, right? This is the same thing. So many go into business, they never went to school for, they never knew how to do, and I don't just mean literally, I mean that in Young Living, it's so easy to go into business. The access point is so minuscule, right? You could just go right into business for $30, I think it is, or isn't the business essential kit 30? I mean, can you imagine starting a business for $30? $30, right? You're in business, but that's not good enough. I'm going to be really clear about that. It's not good enough. You have to learn these things. So we know that there's not a place. Now, I've taught business for years. Many of you know me as teaching business. Pam has done the same thing, has taught. We're just teaming up to do it at this stage. Okay. We want to bring you to school. So we're hoping to do it weekly. We'll see how that goes out because we're flexible in what the needs are and what our personal needs are as well. But you're going to see lessons show up in whatever this. We're not sure if it's going to be in a Google Doc or if it's going to be a Dropbox. We're not really sure, but we're going to have lessons for you to learn about. In those things, you're going to learn about business proficiency. You're going to have mindset shifts, and then we're going to do some tactical things. What are you specifically going to do with Young Living, right? What are you specifically going to do there, and what could help you? So, do you want to go into the quadrants right now, or would you want to go into the wish list, Pam?
Well, I want to talk just right before we do that. I do just want to talk a little bit about the path to success and how people are going to get to success, so that it'll tie into the logistical training. We're okay on time. Yep. Okay, so we're going to have a lot of customers in our business, right? A lot of individuals who come onto our teams, who we enroll, who others enroll, and create this wonderful community for ourselves. We're going to have a lot of customers. We're going to have a lot of product lovers. Everyone is here, I know, because they're a product lover. You notice we didn't even need to talk about that or the quality of our products, because everybody knows we have the best products that are out there. Like that's just a hands down. We can dive right into the business conversation, but because of that, we have a lot of brand partners. We have a lot of brand partners that are great at sharing, and you're going to have a lot of great brand partners that are great at sharing. And then you're going to have a smaller percentage of people who really, really, really want to go for it. And I see a lot of faces on here that I personally know really, really, really want to go for it. And here's how you're going to get there. You're going to raise lots of stars. You're going to raise lots of stars. You're going to drop lots of oils and magnificent wellness products, and you're going to help people to get started to fall in love with their products, to become loyal customers, and you're going to teach them, and here's the thing, how to share well. And we're going to show you how to do that, how to share with simplicity and ease that is duplicatable. Because I can guarantee you, if you're not growing, it's because you're not being duplicatable. And the question that I ask myself every day in this business is, what I'm doing duplicatable? I record every single thing that I do.
Me too.
I never know what I'm going to drop gold, right? We're going to get that snippet of gold. And I never know, like, if I'm answering a question, somebody else has that same question. So we have to watch for those things that we're doing over and over again. The other thing that I ask myself as I'm building every day, and every day that may look different, does this make sense? Start asking yourself that question. Is what I'm doing, does this make sense? Is this making sense to my audience? Is this making sense to those people following me? Is this making sense to my team? Is this making sense to me and who I am and what I want to build? Really, really important.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's one of the things we had discussed. And I'm a very systems-based person, as I know you are. We've been creating systems for the other things that we're doing. And this cannot be emphasized enough, whether it's recording or whether you're doing a step-by-step with something, like we're about to show you something. If you need to, you're going to write down the steps, then you're going to make a document that you could give to your team so you don't ever have to do that again. You see what we're saying? Anything that you could record or write down or whatever, so that it just becomes part of the duplication, then that's great. There's going to be some of you who, go ahead.
No, please finish your thought. I apologize.
I was going to say that I want there to be an understanding of the duplication too. I know I speak like, this is my strength, right? I know that I could speak. I know it's not easy to duplicate, and I don't expect that part to be duplicated. What's duplicable is if I record it and someone could share it. Now it has become a duplication. So it's not that everybody has to have the same strength. It's not that. It's just taking what is your strength and making it duplicable.
Now,
so I hope
here
that's
I
clear.
do want to interject, because before we move on, because the piece that I see most people stumble on is that they think they have to, there's a difference between duplicating and recreating. And we didn't talking about this, but I do want to bring this in at this moment. It's not about you going and taking everything and recreating it. That is literally busy work, and you're missing the point of your network marketing business.
And it's too ego driven. Get your
ego driven.
Get your ego out of the way. Get it out of the way. It's very hard to make money in a flowing way if your ego is inserted constantly in it. Yes.
It's virtually impossible. You have to drop that. Know your strengths, drop the ego. Do not recreate everything. If there is ever a tool that I can point to, whether that's from corporate, whether that's from another leader, whether that's from, someone in my organization, so many people do so many things so much better than me. I don't need to recreate it. I can point to the tool. And that's why we encourage you guys. Don't feel as though when we do this training with you now that you have to go recreate it and do the training for people. This is why we're talking about making short lessons for you guys, so you can just point people to that lesson. I'd much rather have every one of you out there as your authentic self, shining with those things that light up your passion, talking to people and enrolling people that are going to help you lift a lot of stars, that are going to lift you through the ranks, senior stars, executive, silver, gold, platinum, diamond. Like, keep your focus on what you need to be doing in order to reach those heights, so that you're building that confidence to be able to speak as a business builder, you know, like a true business person, so that when that, you know, wonderful person off your, you know, chicken list or whatever you call it, right? Like that person you've been afraid, that great entrepreneur in your town that you've been afraid to speak to, well, have some, you know, confidence behind that conversation. Have some success behind that conversation. Have some tools to point, because I'll tell you, the first thing when someone prospects me about something, and I'm not talking about other network marketing opportunities because I'm not prospectable. Like I tell them, like, you know, no, I'm here. This is it. You know, this is
Well,
it.
that's the
There's
thing.
no
It's the focus.
conversation you're
That,
going to have with me. There's zero things you're going to say to me. But at other times, my first question was, show me your system. Show me what's duplicatable. Show me, you know, what can I point to?
I'm the same way. I'm not approachable in that way. I'm
Don't
just
even
not. It's such a,
talk to me.
it's from a business perspective, I find it to be such a weakness. You know, I'm looking for more streams of income. I'm not looking to replace.
I am looking for more investments.
More
I'm
investment.
looking for more real estate.
So I'm going to bring that up quickly here,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, because I just want people, for those who are new, and I know we're going to address this at a different time, but if you're not familiar with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that's actually one of the action steps we're going to give you this week, is to go get Rich Dad, Poor Dad and read it. Because every single person I know in business, like any type of business in any industry, is very familiar with this book, and is even more familiar with this cash flow quadrant. When I told you I was broke, we were eligible for welfare, and then I got this book. And I know it sounds like a crazy story, and I'm not going to go into my story tonight for the sake of time, what it did, but this book was that boom, complete shift, because I needed a different understanding of flow and money. So what this means is employee or self-employed, right? And these two are where you're very much trading your time for dollars in these quadrants. This is the cash flow quadrant, right? So here's as an employee or self-employed, the whole left side here, you are trading your time for money. This is how you generate income. These are 4 ways to generate income, right? So you're doing it by either working for someone, or you're self-employed and you're working. So I was self-employed. I still am self-employed. One of my things is as a self-employment, right? So it's not that there's anything wrong. I'm just clear that I'm trading my time for dollars when I do that. It just happens to be something I love. So I've been doing it for practice for 25 years. I continue to be in practice. I just enjoy that part of my life. But I also, now to go on the right side, I also have a business. That's where you start having other people help to generate that income, right? Or services or whatever, people generate that. The whole goal of this, by the way, no matter any of this here, is to get to the investments. And that's where your money is working for you. I tell people that I work with, that I train, I'm like, consider your money being your staff. Your money is your staff. It's the people that are working for you. You want your money working for you. So if you're just spending it on nonsensical things, like if you are going to, I don't know, just figure whatever, we all spend on nonsensical things, right? But in my consciousness, when I'm going somewhere and spending it, I'm like, I am letting go this part of my staff. This part of my staff could help generate me more money. Instead, I'm willing to permanently let it go over here, which means I need to make more money here or here to replace what I just did over here. You see what I'm saying? And you may not understand this right now, and that's okay if you don't understand it now. That's why we're doing these things, because we want you to understand and have this consciousness going in. The ultimate goal is the investments, is having your money work for you. Young living is in the business part. Okay. That's where you're working a little bit. You have other people working a little bit. All that collectively is what's helping you generate money. Ideally, you take this money and you put it into this and allow it to work from there. So again, this stuff we're going to talk about and deal with in future lessons, but we want you to get an idea of what we're doing, why we're talking about it. So first thing in the action step then.
So
is,
wait.
Oh,
I have to say one thing. I'm sorry.
No, go.
Just getting so excited here. I want to congratulate everybody here tonight for moving from the left side to the right side and having your own business. even if you have one foot still in the left side, that's awesome. You have a foot in the right side. You're making that like amazing transition, and just kudos to you, man, because
It's a big step.
it's a big step.
And it could be scary, and it could be uncertain, and it will be all those things. And that's going to be the other part of this. We are not going to sugarcoat. There's too many people that feel if they throw in a whole bunch of hype and glitter, that it'll keep people there and all this. Like Pam and I are going to be brutally honest through these lessons. If your motivation, you can't stop me from wanting peace of mind. Not one single thing could stop me from wanting peace of mind. Not one single thing could stop me from wanting to bring hope to other people. I am unshakable in that. There's nothing that throws me off kilter. If there's something that throws you off, it's because you haven't figured out the thing yet. And I'll tell you something, and this is going to feel very personal, but this is how I get to the core of it. And it's not to process people on the spot. So just kind of take it as you can, but I tell people, there's a moment in everyone's life. There's a moment in everyone's life where you're deciding, you're making a choice, whether you're going to stay here or do you want to go, right? Everyone comes to a moment and you're here, right? You decided to be here. Why? What was the thing? So when people are coming up with their whys for you, they say, the whole thing for how long I want to retire my husband. And I would tell people, stop following that. It's not going to last. It's not going to, or I would say, does your husband want to be retired? What does that mean? You know what I mean? It's like, there's so many things that people make up. Oh, I want to do it because I want to get this thing or that thing. I am telling you, none of that is going to be enough to help you weather what it takes to get to diamond and sustain, or to do any other thing in successful business and sustain. It just is not enough. And that's the brutal honesty that we want to continue to infuse into you. So you go in with completely realistic expectations and understanding that. So for me, I know Pam's why. I know it's unshakable. I know her story. Unshakable. She knows the same in me. So when we're talking business, we could have all the pain points discussed very openly, because even the pain points never stop us. It's just assumed it's part of the process. It's just assumed. And our why is so strong. And that's what I mean about the why. It's having that peace. I will do anything for peace of mind. I will do anything to continue bringing hope to people. That is me. That's who I am. So it's unshakable, unbreakable. So I never look at any other thing. So we want you, again, as the first thing, an action step, get this, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a very quick read, but it's also not intended to be so fast. I've revisited this many times over the years. Okay. It's a very simple, quick read. It's small. It's this little booklet almost, right? It's not a large, well, I guess a little bit. It's not that large of a book, it's a quick read, but it's supposed to be a study. It's supposed to help you go through the shifts that are necessary to start thinking like a business person. Okay.
And so that we can continue this conversation in a little bit more depth, because we'll all have that same baseline knowledge and terminology.
So now the next, absolutely. So the next thing is, and Pam, are you done with this piece of it? I'll go into the other part. Okay. So great. I want to share something with you that's a feature of Young Living. If you have not learned this yet and done this yet, and I know Pam has a little confession around it, but.
Okay. You want to hear my confession? So we were planning on what we were going to show logistically tonight. I'm like, oh, good, because I haven't done this yet. I was away on vacation. I got back. I've had but we were hosting a big event. I just haven't been in my back office playing with this feature yet.
And I love this feature. And I was like, oh, we're going to show them the wish list. And she's like, I don't know. I said, okay, I'm going to show them the wish list.
So, I have my paper. I have my pen because I'm old fashioned girl. I write
right.
steps
I am
down.
too. I write everything
I'm all about
down.
creating the how-to graphic. That's me.
Okay, so here we go. So you have okay, this is you. I'm already signed in, right? So you're in the regular site, you're already signed in. And yeah, Erica's in love with the wish list feature. So am I. Okay. You hover, if you're here, you just hover over this. If you're on your phone, if you're on your mobile, those 3 lines on the upper left will get you to this same place. Okay. So So somebody already asked, is this an alternative to bundles and MyYL? Yes, it is. Okay. So here, if you do this, you see it says wish list. Okay. Now, all right, I have some wish lists that are already made up, right? So I taught last week from a class that I tend to teach, which is called Seventh Heaven, which is one of Gary's classes. And I add a few other things to it. So all I do is create like new list, right? So let's just say I do this and I'm going to say, right, I want to motivate people in, what do I want to motivate people in, right? Or let's say I'm sending something out privately. Let's say I'm sending out something to Pam, right? So I create a list here. Now the list is called Pam. Pam, what products are you into? Most people need ICP daily, right? So let's say ICP daily. I'm going to add that to that wish list. Okay. What else? What do you, oh, you said higher unity, right? This is like Pam's formula for goodness, higher unity. Okay. I'm going to add that to the wish list. And you said white Angelica. I'm going to add that to the wish list. And you probably love
toothpaste.
Ningxia. Okay, so let's add it to that and let's do toothpaste. So somebody's talking to you and they want to have something. All right, you're adding that. So now you added all this stuff and it's called Pam, right? Now you're having a private conversation with somebody and they're saying, okay, whatever you're talking about here, I want to have that thing. Can you help me out? Great. So you make a list called Pam, well, call whatever, right? And now you're going to share it, right? So I'm going to click share. You see that my sponsor and enroll. Now I could change this because right off the bat, I could say, I want to place you under somebody else, right? So I have the opportunity right here to change that, or I leave it just directly with me. Okay. So then I generate the link here. The link has already been generated. This is it. You just have to press on here, copy link. Okay. Link is copied. I go into email or text messaging or whatever, and I just paste that link and send it. When it gets sent, it will look like this. Okay. I'm going to sign out because I have to be signed out. So when I send it, it's going to look like this. Hold on. It's going to get funky because I didn't sign out. Here we go. Okay. So the wish list comes up. Here's Pam. And then I have the option to sign in or create an account, right? Now I could add how you create the account. I'm going to say, oh, this is what she wanted me to have. I could either put it on a loyalty order, which would give me the 24% off, or if I wanted all of it, it would also give me the 24% off. I'm going to add it all to my cart here. And I had already put like the free gifts, all that, view cart here. Okay. Check out. Okay, great. Check out. Again, here's the contact information. Who referred you? You see my number is already in there. Now they have the option to just create their account. You see what I'm saying? Okay. This is an excellent feature. That's if you're doing something privately. Now let's look at it differently. I'm just going to stop my share for a second so I could go back in without my passwords and stuff showing up. Okay, let's say that I'm having a class. Like we had a class last week. I teach classes all the time, product classes, because I love teaching on this. I know we're not allowed to call anything earth medicine, but that's what I've done my whole life is teach earth medicine. So I said it. Okay. But anyway, all right. So now I'm going to share my screen with you again. So let's say now I teach on, I'm going to go back to my wish list here that I already made up. And let's say that I'm going to delete Pam's list. Sorry, Pam. Okay. So let's say now that I'm teaching a class on mindset and abundance, or I'm teaching a Seventh Heaven class, which I often teach something, or I'm teaching about like what just came up, inner beauty and gut health, people using collagen and all that. And I'm talking about, now I'm creating a campaign. I want to talk about it on social media. I want to talk about what my experience has been. Then I'm going to create the bundle ahead of time. When I'm teaching a class in person, I know what I'm going to teach on. I'm going to create the bundle ahead of time. So here, as an example, here are the Seventh Heaven oils, plus the other ones I tend to talk about, right? Now here, I've taken this link, right? So I'm generating a link. I'm copying it. I want to give it to people who are in the class so that they could see and get it if they want. I go to QR code monkey. It's free. You see this? QR code-monkey.com. This is free. I go in here, it says enter the content. Okay, so I'm going to enter content. Honestly, here, this is the last one that I did. This was the business training. I created a QR code for it, so you can see that's in there. Okay, so let's say I'm going to do this. I put the URL, which is that copy, the code I just had. I paste it in here. right? I set the colors. Okay, let's say I want the colors to be the same. I want to remove that image because that's not what this is about. I could put another one in there. You could put Young Living in there. You could put nothing in there, right? I could change the look of it however you want it, which is like these features here, up here. You could just change it. And then you do create the code. Okay. Now, if you guys were to put your phone up to this right now, and if you're not on your phone, you could do this right now. This is on the screen. You put your phone up to it. Okay. This will take you to the seventh heaven list that I have. It'll take you right there. All right. So this is such a simple way, again, to be, there you go, Pam, it went right to it, right? It is so why are we telling you all this? Because as business women, we are always looking for ways to be efficient and to systemize everything we're doing. Now, for some of you might be like, I don't know how to do a QR code. So what? I didn't know how to do a QR code until I learned how to do a QR code. That was it. I didn't know how to use Zoom until I learned how to use Zoom. I didn't know how to use my microphone right here till I learned how to. Anyone who's in my club or follows me knows that I want to throw my computer out the window most days because there's so many things I'm really not good at and can't get. And I'm like, okay, but I will get it. You know, it gets under my, but it's important to me because I want peace of mind. Computery stuff doesn't always do that, but I want peace of mind and I want to bring hope where many have lost it. And this is a step along the way. And since that's so important to me, my core value is so important to me, my core mission is so important to me, I'm willing to learn this. I'm willing to do it. If you're not willing to do the things, you haven't found the thing for you yet. If you have not found that thing for you yet, business will be difficult. There's only so far. You could have success. You could have a certain level of success. You could make money. It's just only going to go so far. And if you haven't found that piece and you can't let the feel come through even of it, right? How your passion shine through on it, people just won't believe you. You're just not believe. They may not be able to put their finger on it. They may not even say such a thing, but they'll know. You know that intuition. Everybody has that piece, and they just won't believe you. So, am I willing to learn how to do a QR code? Yeah, because is that a big deal in the scheme of life? Absolutely not. It's not. I have people that said to me, "I don't know how to sign anyone up on Young Living." Pam and I talked about this. How many people have said to us, we don't know how to use the website? We're like, and that's okay, by the way, it's new and all that stuff, but it's a year old now and you're not in business. And that's okay. You don't have to be in business, but don't say you're in business and you haven't learned how to use the site for the last year. You're not. That's basic. When Pam and I wanted to learn the site, when it all came out, and I just say Pam and I, but it was diamonds in general. We jumped on the site. We all created fake accounts. We all went through and tried to break the site. You know, we clicked on here. We shared the information. Oh, I figured out how to do this. Oh, no, I did that. Did you know that this feature was here? By the way, we still do all of this stuff, right? This is what we have. Oh my God, you guys have to see this or try that. Oh, I clicked on this and this wasn't right. Who's going to contact IT? Anyone else seeing this? Okay, let's submit. That's business talk. That's running a company. That's, figuring things out. Go on the site and click everything. Click it all. Figure it out. Be the person. You want to learn how to sign someone up? Sign yourself up. I mean, obviously don't follow all the way through with something, but you get the gist of how to do it. You get the gist. Pam, what else we have going on?
I think that we're ready for action steps.
Perfect.
I think we're ready to wrap up. You guys got a good amount, yes? Did you get a digestible amount for this evening?
Yes,
yeah?
Good.
Very good. Awesome. You got value? Thinking about business a little differently? Curious about your core value?
Good. So here's your job. Here's what you're going to do. It's not a job. No, it's a job. It's okay to call it a job. It's work. You're going to work. I know everyone hates to say, no, it's not work. It's all fun. And you get to take Instagram pictures all the time. It's both. It's fun and it work. And you have to work. You have to work. I have working. we're going to get into this in subsequent videos, but like I have working hours that I work because I'm building something because I really care about it. So I have working hours. So, and then I have hours I don't work because I really care about my family and I really care about my life and I care about my husband and I care about my dog. I care about all so it's just getting you into that frame of mind. A lot of the promises that are made are the promises that come later. They're not the promises you start with. It's not, you have to work in the beginning. So the action steps: create a wish list, start playing with it, create a wish list of whatever is meaningful, to you, or you want to, or just practice, share it to someone, share it to your significant other, whatever it is, just so you see how it works and operates. Create a QR code. You could use what I used, QR code monkey. But honestly, if you just Googled free QR codes, there's like a million. You could just find it. What it may be something else that works easier for you. I don't know. I use QR code monkey because once I find something, I tend to be a creature of habit once I figure it out. And get and read Rich Dad, Poor Dad right now. Like get it and read it and start shifting your mind. This is going to, if you do nothing else, just even what we told you tonight is worth millions. I know you don't understand that necessarily yet, but it is. This is like core stuff, basic stuff, but that basic stuff creates this foundation that can launch anything that you're doing, anything. Because once you learn business, you apply it across the board to all other opportunities, right? And they will keep flowing, because when you have confidence in business and when you're successful in business, people want to do business with you. I want to do business with Pam. Pam wants to do business with me. There's an ease to it because we could skip over all the blah, blah, blah. We could skip over all that and we could get right to what we want to do and get focused, and we know what's important and we could focus on those important things. And that's it. And it allows things to move much more efficiently. And it allows us to reach success in other things that we're doing. Some of the things we're doing more quickly, some other things might take longer. It's okay. But we just come in with such clarity around that we could do. Someone else said you could use flow code. So great. Again, just Google free stuff, free QR codes. So create a wish list, put it into a QR code. You may not always use a QR code, but learn how to do that. Okay. And by the way, to be clear, after you do the QR code, you download the image. It comes up as an image, and then you could take that image and you could put it on any print material you may have, or on a slide that people could put their phones up. Oh, same thing on a Zoom, you could put it up there. But do understand, you could take that image, you could print it out. Maybe you're at do a fair or do any of those expo type things or whatever. You put it in a, laminated, or put it in a, box that, what do you call those things? The stands, the clear stands, so people could come and get more information, all that stuff. So that's how you would use it. After that,
you could put it on a business card if you had a business card.
Yeah. Sue says you can make a wish list of your top 5 products, whatever is meaningful to you and however you're communicating your ideas, put that together. Right. Business card. I have it on my business card. I have a QR code. And then again, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And because we're going to talk more about this, we will have, I think, another lesson coming out next week. We'll also post this up and get this out to everyone. You are free to share this information. We are doing this for Team Young Living. So you are free to share this information, invite people to it, and share the links that we send and all that. And that's it. Okay, Erica, if you have biz questions, should we just post in the abundance group sometimes? And yes. So each of you have respective diamonds or connections or whatever. So Erica, obviously you're with me. Yes. Follow-ups and stuff in business, of course, put it in our business group. Same thing with Pam. If you're here with Pam,
we have our business page.
Yeah. If you're in LFC, my club, obviously you can put it in there also. And I will address any of that. For any of you who are not connected to any of us, either feel free, of course, to reach out, or your upline diamond is also everybody. We don't know. That's the last thing. Maybe we should, we don't know as diamonds. Our groups are so large. We don't know when people need help unless they ask for it. Don't think we know and we're just ignoring. We don't know. And even for us, sometimes we feel like if we're reaching out, even if maybe you built before, we don't know that you still want to do that. We don't know that sometimes we could even feel like, am I pushing too much? We're not looking to drive anyone away. We don't want to make any assumptions. So this is also a time for you to figure out how to be more bold in what you need and what you're asking for. I have a coach right now that I work with who's came at me with something, and I came back with him and said, this is what I need from you. This is what I need. So please reach out to your upline diamonds, whether it's me or Pam or someone else. Reach out to your upline diamonds and tell us you need help and let us know what it is. Because I don't know a single diamond. Do you know any diamond, Pam, that's unwilling to help their team? I mean,
Not
everybody,
one.
not
Not
one.
one.
We
Not
just
one.
don't know. We just don't know. So please reach out. And you're not bugging us. And many people say, well, it's because you're so busy. Yes, we're busy, but we're busy doing the things we choose to be doing. So you don't have to manage our schedules. So don't worry about that. We manage our own schedule. If you need something, reach out. Okay. So
Yes. Thank you everyone for being here this evening.
yes.
And thank you to those that are watching the recording. We're very excited to be working together in this circle with all of you. And be bold. Be bold. Don't shy away from what you know is your birthright and what you have to shine and share. So connect, uncover, keep asking, keep looking, keep searching for your core value so that you have a level of conviction that will take you to where you want to go.
So that everyone could get all those oil kits that Pam's got right behind her. That I'm eyeing those, Pam. I'm eyeing those. Okay. Anyway, have a great night, everybody.
Abundance goddess.
Thank you, guys. Take care. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you, John.